how Claude and VS Code work together. It's pretty awesome. I kind of show you a little bit already, but essentially Claude generates the prompts, generates the idea in a very detailed way for me to be able to pass that prompt into the AI assistant in VS Code, and that way things start getting implemented. So the ideas and the solutions come into VS Code in a way of a prompt, and then VS Code organizes and stores that idea and really starts putting it all together into files, which is essentially what creates the context for the whole application. There is different ways to go about it, and there's different instructions that we can implement to make sure that we get a very good prompt every time. So that way, when that prompt is properly set up, we have a very good way for VS Code to be the one to organize it. Because imagine if you were the one that is telling VS Code how to do things, but you don't have a real software engineering background and you truly just have the idea, VS Code is going to go wild and it's going to want to create right away, and it's going to want to do things for you right away. And when you put a simple idea in it, you're really giving it a lot of freedom, which is not good most of the time. However, when we put that idea more simply into Claude so that way Claude is the one that truly generates the prompt for VS Code, it's going to have a lot more instructions. It's going to be way more organized, and it's going to be way more detailed, and it's going to use a language that VS Code is going to be able to understand more precisely. And then VS Code is not really going to have that much of a freedom to just create anything and everything or mess your files up, because it could happen. If you give VS Code a very general prompt for it to create, it's going to create in any way and shape it wants to. But once we do it through Claude and through a very specific prompt, then we're given it very specific instructions, and that way it's really going to keep everything tidy and it's going to be everything on the same page. So that's how Claude and VS Code can truly work together to create an amazing application for you. Now, what happens when you are dealing with an existing project? How do we do this and how do we go about that? Maybe you're not the one coming up with the project itself. Maybe you're reading somebody else's project, or maybe your partner just sent you some files for you to be able to help him put together. VS Code is really good at this, and this is something we can do through our environment. Using our AI assistant, it could truly understand what's really going on in the file structure in a more detailed way. Obviously, us as the human in the loop, as the orchestrator, we can truly see what's going on kind of by just looking at it. If we have a main folder that is, from an unknown app, and it at least has the source folder where it has the components, services, pages, and maybe it even has a database folder where the database lives, and maybe even has a readme. You can truly go about yourself and then go and read all of that, but it is always better to also have both you yourself reading it and the AI assistant of your environment get familiar and read it as well, because in that way it's going to be able to come up with what truly is going on in the project. In less than a minute, it will truly understand everything that's going on. So once you point Claude at any project and it maps the whole thing, it can truly make it very easy for you. However, you can also do that directly from VS Code, which is where I would do that first. And that way you could truly get familiar with the project, obviously analyzing the project structure, and at that point speeding up your onboarding process within the application itself that is being built and put together. Now, how does it work when you're building a new product? I've touched on that a little bit, and it's really all starts from an idea. And an idea is something that I always want to make sure that it makes it to a PRD. When you have a PRD, a products requirement document, you're truly setting up not only the instructions for your project, but you're setting up the requirements. You're setting up the things that are truly required for your project to exist. And it's not only about the applications that are required, it's about the plan that is required, the phases that is required, the steps that are required for your application to become functional. So obviously, again, everything starts from the idea. When the idea hits my brain, I directly go into Claude right away. I open up a new chat and I start talking to it, and I just start really brain dumping absolutely everything that is coming up to me about that idea specifically. As we're doing that, we're planning. So at that point, me and Claude are just planning directly and just making sure that we understand everything, really understand those requirements. Like, for me to implement this idea, what language am I going to be using? How should the folders be set up and structured? How is the actual structure of the project needs to be? And maybe even how do other projects that are similar, how are those projects structured? how do they work? So really putting it all together. Once we have that, then we're able to really come into our building phase. Now, it is important for you to be able to understand that you do want to have some sort of PRD, an actual MD file, a markdown file that is a PRD, and that it has things broken down into phases. Because when you're building a new project and you're coming in from an idea point, it's gonna cause you delays when you just really put the idea when it's halfway built from the planning phase, and you're gonna have to come back, fix some things, and then go forward again, and just like really have to play around with it in that manner. So it's always good for you to be able to, when the moment of building, that you already have phases built up, that you have a PRD, that you know how the structure is gonna look like, at least on the projects and folder perspective. And then that way you can truly come to the application side of things, because by the time that you have all of that set up and you're really ready to build, your application comes in fast because everything is planned. The better you plan, better the output every time.